Hello students, welcome to English class. Today we will going to learn Nelson Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom. Long Walk to Freedom of Nelson Mandela. This chapter is an excerpt from his story, that is Long Walk to Freedom. In his this story, he was talking about his journey of how he became a freedom fighter and his struggle. He is also paying tribute the other patriots, means other freedom fighters who were responsible for this beautiful freedom. Now, as we said earlier also, this is an autobiographical story of Nelson Mandela. And the question must be arises in your mind also why this chapter is in our syllabus, because so many freedom fighters were there. Yes, apart from the in a sense you can say that this story is an influential story for everyone. Apart from this, there is a very close relation between two countries, the South Africa and India. Now, you see, Nelson Mandela himself is considered Mahatma Ji as his political guru. And if you see the political issues or in the playground, in both of the field, you can see the close relation between two countries. Okay, now I will tell you some instance. If you look at the history, then we can see that so many instances. Now, one instance I want to share with you. It was the year means 1893 when Mahatma Gandhi was traveling by a train in the first compartment. Now, one white man was objected him not to travel in the first. He could not be able to traveled in the first compartment. What was the reason? The reason was for his skin color. Okay, now he was thrown off from the train. First of all, though, that Gandhiji refused to remove his seat from that particular part. Okay, now when he refused, he was thrown off from the train, and he had to stay there in that particular station. And he was shivering that night because it was so cold. And this bitter incident played a major role in Gandhiji's decision to stay in South Africa and fight against the racial discrimination. And if you both Nelson Mandela and Gandhiji became an inspiration of world peace. Means and see, when Nelson Mandela got freedom from jail, from his prison life, he came to India first, and Indian government honored him with Bharat Ratna. Bharat Ratna, you know that it is the India's highest civilian honor. Okay, and he was awarded with Bharat Ratna. So if you see the political issue, as well as when we look at the playground, means those who are fans of cricket, they must be know that at the time when apartheid was prevailing there in South Africa, then that time other countries who just banned South Africa to play international meets. And after getting the freedom, India was the first country who support South Africa to come back to play the international meets. And South Africa just show his thankful gratitude towards India by selecting India to play with them at first. It was played in Kolkata. Okay. Now, these are some instances. If you look at the history, so many instances you will get. Okay, so some other day, as the time is very short, we have to move on to the story. Okay, when the school will reopen, I will give you some other instances. Let's move on to the second part. The second part starts. That day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose sufferings and courage can never be counted or repaid. Now, Nelson Mandela is saying in his was saying in his speech that day was possible for them. That day was possible for them, for whom? For the sacrifices and courage of those people who lay their life for the freedom. Those people who were belonging to South Africa, who lay their life for the sake of freedom. And that day was possible only for those people. Now, those people whose sufferings and courage can never. He was also adding that those sufferings cannot be repaid, or it was uncountable. Okay, now see, I felt that day, as I have on so many other days, that I was simply the sum of all, and those African patriots who had gone before me. Now he is considering himself that he was the sum of all, means sum of total, or you can say the result, means he became the president of this democratic country. Those for whom, for the sacrifice or for the courage of those people who belong to South Africa and who lay their life for the sake of freedom. And he called them as patriots. Patriots are the person who lay down their life for the sake of freedom, who loves their country. Okay, now who had gone before him? He said that they were the people who had gone before him. That long and noble time ended and now began again with me. Now he said that he considering them as a noble. Why he is considering them noble? Because they were great people. Line ended, means now he became the president of this democratic country, and now begin again with me. Now now why he is stating that began again with me? Now he has some responsibility now. He became the president of this democratic country. Now he is having some responsibility to carry forward and safeguard of the freedom that the country had got. I was pained that I was not able to thank them, and that were not able to see what their sacrifices had wrought. Wrought here means achieved, or you can say received. Okay, now he was saying that he was paying great he was having a great pain because he could not thank them personally. And he also added that those people who sacrificed their life for the sake of freedom could not see what their achievements brought, what their sufferings had brought. That is the freedom. That is the freedom that the people of their country got. Now he is also being very sad for them that they could not see it in their own eyes. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. Now what do you mean by profound, deep and strong? Profound here means deep and strong. Okay. Now the policy of apartheid. What do you mean by the policy of apartheid? Apartheid is a policy that shows discrimination amongst the people on the basis of race. That is why white for the blacks. Okay, and this apartheid policy was practiced by the white people of South Africa. Okay, and he's stating that this policy has created a deep wound on the people's mind, on the black people's mind, and the suffering was so deep that it could not be forgotten. It could means it will last for a long time. Now he is stating that the sufferings or the hardships what they got from the whites Okay, it will last a long period of time. Means it will not recover very soon. It could not be forgotten. Okay, now, but the decades of oppression and brutality had another unintended effect, and that was that it produced the Oliver Tambos, Walter Sislas, and Chief Luthelius, the Yusuf Dados and Brain Fisheries, and Robert Subuquis of our time. Men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom, and generosity that their like may never be known again. Now he is telling that this policy not only created a deep wound on the people's mind, but also created another effect. What is that effect? What was that effect? That effect was that this policy had produced extraordinary people, and he has given some examples also, some names over there, and and it is in your book. The names were in your book and the pictures were also given. Okay, now he is telling, Nelson Mandela is telling that this effect created or produced a good number of extraordinary people, the people who was having a lot of courage, wisdom, and generosity. Why? Because they were the people who protest against that brutality called apartheid, who were against these atrocities, you can say. And he also added that such people can never be found again, and he was also saying that such people can never be found again. Okay, now perhaps it requires such depths of operation to create such heights of character. Now he's telling that apartheid system was prevailing in, or it was it was it was prevailing in such a way that it creates the characters, the extraordinary characters in South Africa. Okay, and he had given some names also a while ago. Okay, my country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soil, but I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. Now, Nelson Mandela believes that his country is rich for the presence of minerals over there, means is rich for the minerals, means in beneath of the soil they were having minerals. And you can say that you also know about the fact that South Africa is famous for the raw diamonds. Okay, now he's telling that he believes, it is his belief that a country's wealth is the people themselves. For a country, the peoples are the wealth of for any nation. You can his belief was that for any nation it is the people who are the greatest wealth of that particular country, and for him also his people are the greatest gems. Okay, and considering or comparing to diamonds, okay, that was present beneath the soil, and he's telling that the people were finer, truer, and purest diamonds. He's comparing them, that they were the finer and truer and the purest diamonds. He's comparing them with the purest diamonds. Okay, now means he wants to say that the greatest wealth of a country is the people themselves, right? Now it is from these comrades in the struggle that I learned the meaning of courage. Time and again I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. Means it is from these comrades. Comrades means the colleagues or you can say fellow members of an organization. Okay, here comrades means the friends, or you can say the fellow freedom fighters. He has given some name also a little a while ago. He's considering them as his fellow members or friends, that from them he learned what is the meaning of courage. Means what is meant to be bold. Okay, courage means he learned from them what is meant to be courage, means what is patience, what is meant to be bold. Okay, now he's telling, time and again I have seen men and women risk and give their lives for an idea. Now he's telling that I have seen such examples of men and women, thousands men and women who sacrifices their life, who risk their life for the sake of the freedom. For the sake of the freedom, I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. Now he's telling that those men who stood against the torture of the whites, means against the torture of that party system, they are just giving their life, they are sacrificing their life, and they are just bearing such brutality or such hardship because of the sake of their country people, or because of the sake of the freedom. And that sufferings were, you can say, beyond his imagination. It is uncountable. Okay, he's saying that without a sign of pain, they are bearing such hardship. They bear such hardship for what? For the sake of the freedom of the country. Okay. Now, resilience here means the ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its effect. Now, see, I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Triumph here means victory. Triumph is victory. Okay. Okay, now see, he's telling that that a beautiful thought. He got a beautiful thought of courage from them. What is that? That courage means that when there is courage doesn't mean that when there is no fear. Okay, he's saying that courage doesn't mean that there is no fear. When you just conquer over fear, then it just means that you are bold, you are courage. Means courage means what? To conquer over fear, to win over fear, you can say, to win over fear. Means he means to say that courage was not like that, not that when there is no fear. Means what is that? It is the conquer over fear, that is the win over fear. Okay, now the brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Now he's telling the man who is considered to be a brave, who conquers over fear, who wins over fear. Okay, no one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, of his background, or his religion. Now he was saying that no one was born with hatred. He learned hatred from the society. Society taught him to hate other people. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love. For love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. Now he was in the opinion that no one was born with hatred. Hatred is such a thing that was learned by the people from the society itself. Society compelled him to learn what is to hate others. And he was also in the opinion that people can learn to, if people can taught to be learn hate, why people cannot taught to be learn how to love others. Now he is saying, he is in the opinion that people should learn how to love his fellow beings. Okay, people heart should be learned. No, and he is in the opinion he should not be taught to hate others. Okay, because love is a thing that easily comes to a man. Okay, that is the natural abilities of man. He used to say that this is the natural ability of a human being to love his fellow beings, not the hatred. So we should taught how to love others, not to hate others. Okay, even in the grimmest times in prison, when my comrades and I were pushed to our limits, I would see a glimmer of humanity in one of the guards. Now he is saying that the even in the grimmest times here means uh, toughest toughest time or you can say sad time, or you can say uh, that you can say that serious time. You can say serious time also. Now he is telling even the grimmest time, even in the serious time, or you can say in the sad time when he was passing in the prison, he along with his comrades, along with his friends who were against the apartheid system and who were in the were put in the jail, and there they were pushed to they were tortured by the white people. And when that torture was beyond imagination of means beyond their imagination, you can say they were pushed to our limits, means they were tortured brutally. Now I would see the glimmer of humanity. Now he is telling that I have seen some kind of, you can say, a slight light of humanity. A slight light of humanity means, humanity here means some kind of some kind gesture of a god, some kind gesture of a god. Okay, now he is telling that that slight light gesture, kind of humanity of the god give him the assurance to encourage him, to give him assurance of getting encourage, or you can say of getting hope for his life. That gives him encouragement, that gives him hope for the life. Okay, now perhaps just for a second, maybe this is for a single second. Now, but it was enough to reassure me and keep me going on. And this was the thing, and this sign of gesture, kind gesture, give me the hope of life. That is what he wants to say. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. Now he was also in the opinion that man's goodness means, you can say that man's goodness is kind nature. Man's kind nature can be hidden, but it cannot totally removed, or it cannot totally extinguished. Okay. Now next para. In life, every man has twin obligations. Now what is obligations? Now what is obligations? Obligations means duties. Okay, obligations means duties. Okay, you can say responsibilities, you can say commitments. Okay, so he is saying that every human being has having two obligations. One is for his family, that is consists of his parents, his wife and his children, and another obligation is for his country, for his nation, that is consists of his community, his tribe, his people, his country people. In a civil and human society, each man is able to fulfill those obligations according to his own inclination and abilities. Now civil here means where people are polite to each other. Civil here means where people were polite to each other. Humane means where human values are valued by each other. Now he is saying that if such a society is there, if such a society is there, a man is able to fulfill his obligations. But in a country like South Africa, it was almost impossible for a man of my birth and color to fulfill both of those obligations. He is also adding to say by saying that in the country like South Africa, it was not possible. It was not possible for a man whose skin color is not white. Means he's telling my color, birth and color of fulfill both of those obligations. Means that those people who are having the dark skin, they could not be able to fulfill their obligations. Okay, in South Africa, a man of color means the color that Nelson Mandela was having, that is the dark and brown color, means that is not, whose color is not white, who attempted to live as a human being was punished and isolated. Means who wanted to live a normal life was punished. Live as a human being was punished. He was punished. If he wanted to live a normal life, he could not able to do so, and he was isolated. Means he was not given freedom to do so. Means he had to live separately. In South Africa, a man who tried to fulfill his duty to his people was inevitably ripped from his family and his home and was forced to live a life apart. Now, in South Africa, a man, a black skin colored man, who was not able to live a normal life. As if he wanted to live a normal life, he was not able to do so, and he had to live a separate life. Okay, now a twilight existence of secrecy and rebellion. What do you mean by twilight existence? Twilight existence here means he would not be able to live a normal life. He has to live a life in the dark, or you can say in the secrecy. Living a life in the secrecy, that no people can be noticing him. Nobody can noticing him. And a rebellion means he has to the government resist him. The government itself resist him to do so. Means the government gives him some rules and restriction, and he has to abide by such restriction. Okay, means he was not able to live a normal life. I did not in the beginning choose to place my people over my family, but in attempting to serve my people, I found that I was prevented from fulfilling my obligations as a son, a brother, a father, and a husband. Now he was telling that at first he was not attached with the people of his community, and when he attached with the people of his community and raised his voice against this apartheid system, against the government, or you can say against the whites, that he was not able to live a normal life, a happy life with his family, what he wanted to do. Okay. Now, I was not born with a hunger to free. I was born free in every way that I could know, free to run in the fields, near my mother's heart, free to swim in the clear stream and run through my village, free to roast mealies under the stars and ride the broad backs of slow moving bulls. Now he was telling that this para, he was talking about his childhood. I was not born with it. He was not born with a hunger of freedom. Means at the time when he was a child, he got all the freedom that he wanted. Okay, I was born free means he got a certain freedom that was practiced by the child, practiced by a child that live on that particular area. Means he wants to say that in his childhood he was able to do what he wanted to do. Means he was practice such things that a normal child used to practice in that particular area. What were they? They were, he can run around. Okay, he could run around. He could swim in the stream, and he was free to roast mealies. Mealies here means maize corn. He he can roasted this maize corn, and to eat, he roasted this maize corn and maize corn to eat, and he was enjoying the ride of bulls. Means he was sitting on a bull, a bull's back, and he used to enjoy the ride on the bull's back. Means a normal child, whatever a normal child practice in his childhood, that is what he did. He did the same thing, and nobody was there to just restrict him, to stop him. Okay, now he's telling, as long as I obeyed my father and abided by the customs of my tribe, I was not troubled by the laws of man or God. He's telling, as long he was obeyed by his father, or the rules and regulation that were set by his tribe. Okay, that time he could do anything he wanted to. Means he was free to do everything when he was a child. Now, it was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion. Now, it was when, means now he realized that his desire of freedom was an illusion. Now, what do you mean by illusion? That is false idea. Illusion means false idea. False idea. Okay, it's a false idea. Now he's telling that his desire of freedom was an illusion, is a false idea for him when he became a boy. Okay, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. Now he was started yearning for his freedom. Now he realized that his freedom was restricted by certain rules set by the government or set by the worlds, and he was not able to do whatever he wanted to do as a student. I wanted to freedom only for myself, the transitory freedom of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleaded, and go where I choose. Now, at first, as a student, he wanted a freedom for himself. He wanted freedom for small things. He is considering that transitory freedom. Transitory freedom here means what? The things that are not permanent, that is known as transitory freedom. And he was telling that he wanted freedom for small things, though he was not able to do so. What were that things? He wanted to stay out at night. He wanted to read whatever he wanted, and he wanted to go wherever he wanted. Okay, now this freedom was restricted, and his yearning of freedom started from that time. Okay. Now, later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family, the freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. Now, later, when he became a young man, when he was in Johannesburg, he was telling that when he lived Johannesburg, I yearned for means he was yearning for the basic freedom, some basic rights, you can say, or basic fundamental rights. What is this? Achieving my potential means earning a job, of earning my keep, of marrying, earning of my keep. Earning of keep here means able to save money whatever he got from his job or from his salary. Of marrying, he wanted to marry and have a family. The freedom not to be obstructed, and he did not want anybody who restricted him or to stop him to do so. Means he wanted a lawful life, having a family, okay, and a job, and he did not like to that anybody stop him to do so. Okay, but when I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed. Curtailed here means reduced. You can say curtailed. Curtailed here means reduced. Reduced, or you can say restricted. Now he's telling not only me, he's telling of himself. Not only or himself, his brothers, his fellow men, means the man who are having the black skin, were not able to get their basic freedom. Okay, now but that freedom of everyone who looked like I did, means there was certain restriction there were certain restriction for the people who were like him, means who were having a black skin. For them, not only he, rather his fellow being, means his brothers and sisters who were like him, were having a black skin, were given some set of rules by the government or by the whites, and they could not do whatever they wanted to do, means they could not get their basic rights. Okay, that is when I joined the African National Congress, and that is when the hunger of my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. Now he is saying that when he understood that he and other could not get the basic freedom, means he and other could not enjoy the basic freedom or fundamental rights, could not enjoy the fundamental right, then they were yearning for the freedom, means they were looking for the freedom from the apartheid system. It was the desire of the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect that animated my life, that transformed that animated life. Now he wanted to represent them and fight. He wanted to represent them and fight for freedom for his country people against the apartheid system. Means they all, not only he, but all of the people around him of their country, means the black people are looking for or yearning for the freedom from the apartheid system. Okay. Now he's telling that was the circumstances that gives some changes in my life also. And what was that circumstances? They wanted to, means he wanted to bring back the dignity. Here dignity means having you can say that having honor and respect. He wanted to bring back the honor of his countrymen, and honor and as well as the respect of his countrymen, and that led him to some changes in his life. What is that? That transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. Now, what is that change? He was, at first he was a frightened young man. Now he became a bold man because of these circumstances. Okay, that led him to fight against the apartheid system. And this fight, this struggle resulted what? The changes of his life. As he was a frightened man, now he became so much bold. They drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal. Now, he was a person who was law-abiding person. He was a person who always follows the rules and regulation that was given by the government, and now he became a criminal. Now circumstances was like that compelled him to become a criminal. Now that turned a family loving husband into a man without a home. Now he was a man who loves his family very much, who wanted to have a loving family. Now he became a man who do not have a home of his own, and because of the freedom, because that he was fighting against the freedom, because he raised his voice against the against the brutality, or you can say atrocities, that forced a life-loving man to live like a monk. Now he's telling that he was a man who enjoyed his life very much, and now he became a monk. Monk here means a person or a member of any religious community who has to live under certain conditions, okay, by foregoing their normal pleasures, etc. Now he has to live a life of monk. Only that circumstances gives him, or gives him such adjectives before his names. Okay, now he is to say that as he and his friends were against the apartheid system and raised the voice against the brutality that was prevailing there, only because of that circumstances makes a total change in his character. Okay, and so more virtuous or self-sacrificing than the next man, but I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedom I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. Means he said that he's saying that he could not enjoy some freedom also, because he was always thinking of the people around him, those who were not getting the basic freedom because of the apartheid system. And when he realized it, when he got to know, and when he realized the fact that was prevailing at that time, and because of this he could not able to enjoy a little, you can say a small amount of happiness, or you can say a small amount freedom also, because he was always thinking for the countryman. Freedom is indivisible. The chains of any one of my people were the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. He's saying that if anybody's freedom was snatched on, or if anybody's freedom were taken off, it means that taking away the freedom from all the people. And taking away from freedom from all other people means taking away the freedom of his own. That is what he wanted to say. Here indivisible means something that cannot be divided. That cannot be something that cannot be divided. Now he's telling that I knew the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. Now who was the oppressor? The whites. And who was oppressed? The blacks. A man who takes over another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. Now he is telling that it is equally necessary to liberate both the oppressor and the oppressed. Why? Because he says that it is necessary for the oppressor to be free, because he will become a prisoner of hatred. And all the people who had been torturing will start hating into such an extent that he himself will feel that he has become a prisoner of hatred. Okay, and this oppressor will always behind the prejudice and narrow-mindedness. What do you mean by prejudice? That is a strong dislike without any good reason, means being biased. You can say prejudice here means a strong dislike without any good reason. That is being biased. And what do you mean by narrow-mindedness? Being selfish, means thinking about his own self, not thinking about the others. Now, I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor are alike and robbed of their humanity. Now, he used to say that the oppressed, who is oppressed? Means who torments other, who tortures other. Okay, oppressed is a person who oppresses others, who torments others. Okay, and who are the oppressor? Oppressor are the people who are suffers by losing their freedom. Now he is telling it is equally necessary to free them. Okay, why both of these people are losing? Because both of the people are losing their humanity. Humanity here means human values. Humanity here means human values. Means so both of them lose their human values, human qualities. You can say humanity means human quality. Humanity here means human qualities. Now both of them were losing the human qualities, and so both of them need to be free from such shackles of light. And he is saying that both of them need to be free from such shackles of life. And this is the end of the story. Now if you read the story, this is, as I told you earlier, this is an influential story. This gives us a message, a nice message of our life, that difficulties will come and we have to face it. And we have that strong determination. We should have the strong determination in our mind that we just be confident yourself and face the situation that comes over you, in front of you. That's all for this today's class. And stay home, stay safe, sanitize yourself from time to time. Thank you.